So, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Today is the 21st of March, Saturday. It's about 6 in the evening, 7:30 actually. And I just wanted to make this video just to kind of make things plain. I took it upon myself a few days ago in the midst of all of this coronavirus business to go ahead and reach out to my kids. I haven't heard from my kids since Christmas of 2018. It is now 2020. Despite putting up thousands of dollars in court fees, despite going through all kinds of mayhem with lawyers that ran off with my money, trying to fight to just be able to see my kids. That's it. I go to reach out, I get a chance to talk to my kids for just a few heart-wrenching moments. And then in trying to just make a few arrangements to see my children, I go right back into the same old rhetoric, the same old argumentative BS that I have to go through every time with the mother of my children. And I've had enough. So I'm making as public of a video about this as I possibly can, just to show how really annoying this is. And I want to make sure that not only do I send this to her so she can get an understanding, but I'm going to blast this everywhere I can in the hopes that this is going to be enough to shame the devil and finally get me an opportunity to just see my children. I think it is absolutely putrid, absolutely disgusting that I have to bargain to see my kids. She took me to court for child support and never showed up. I was already paying child support without being court ordered. But she wanted to be greedy. She wanted to take more. And then now because she didn't show up to court, she got nothing. And I don't have to pay anything. It's nothing of a victory for me because I would gladly give up my entire check for my kids. The money was never a thing. I just wanted my kids. I have to deal with the shame of being looked at funny in my neighborhood because of all of the mischief and mayhem that went on in my house while I was deployed. And the only thing that I'm being told is that I can't see my kids because of my response to that behavior. And my response was to be, I guess, a stereotypical guy. A man with pride who knew his queen was out there doing dirt. What'd you want me to do? I was out there. It hurt. Not an excuse, but that still has nothing to do with my kids. We had a failed relationship. The relationship failed. It's over. But those kids, they deserve to see their dad. I haven't disappeared. I'm out in the public eye. Everybody sees me all over the place on Facebook. Everybody sees me all over the place on Instagram. Everybody sees me over there in City Hall. Everybody hears me jumping up and down at the VFW. Everybody hears me screaming at the American Legion. Why am I trying to talk about veteran suicide? Because there's several other of my brothers who don't see their kids too. Very similar situations. We had a hard time overseas. Things happened. Things went down. It was rough. We found different ways to cope. It wasn't the greatest. But now here I am. My son is about to be 10 years old. And I've been doing this for 10 years. You think I'm not tired? I'm tired. I just want to see my kids. And no matter what's going on around me, this is what I get. Oh, well, I opened up the door for you to be able to talk to your kids. If that was the case, then why am I still sitting over here with a phone for my kids that you won't give to them? What about the phone that you got for them and you said I was going to be able to talk to them, but the phone's off? You have a new address. They're not at the house. I can't go to the school because of the silliness that we keep arguing about. And all I want to do is see my kids. I mean, the clear logic needs to be just addressed here. How can you and I be both begging for me to see my kids? None of that adds up. So I'm living in the same place that I met you in. So there's no excuse why you don't know where I am. And you can bring the kids to me. Because I'm tired of fighting. And if anybody else has any other questions, please send them my way. Because I don't know what else to do with this. I've gone to lawyers and been chastised, belittled, and berated for just having a normal reaction to all of these things going on in my life. Look, if a woman is being promiscuous in a man's house, especially while he's gone to serve, to do his job, so be it. So many people told me not to deal with this woman, and I didn't listen. And that's on me. That's on me. Now I got to deal with that. And this is how I'm choosing to deal with it. You're right, I should have never had kids with that woman. You're right, I should have never had a relationship with that woman, but I gave it an honest try. I did what I thought was the right thing, and I stayed in something that, looking back on it now, was probably the worst decision I've ever made in my life. I thought it was the best at the time. I thought I was doing all of the right things. But this is just as desperate of a plea as I can possibly make without crying and having snot bubbles coming out of my face. Because I don't know what else to do. All I've done is try to be in my children's lives. And for 10 years, I've had to worry about not being in my kid's life. And it started from the very beginning. The day that I crashed my helicopter on the side of the mountain, I came home and got on that phone. And I called home just to hear from her, just to know life is good, just to have some sort of stability, only for me to hear that I have a girl at home who's pregnant with my son, and she's already talking about how she wants to go and live her life with just my son by herself. You were already ready to walk out from day one. And you can sit up there and tell all the stories you want to tell. But if I wasn't fighting for my kids, then why am I still here talking about it? If I didn't want to see my kids, why am I making this long-ass video about it? Why am I cussing and fussing and fighting and everything else? I'm losing my religion and everything with this. But I'm good. I stay strong in my faith. I have my moments. I'm human. But it doesn't mean I don't love my kids. So you can sit up there and play all the games you want to. You can sit up there and lie through your teeth all day. But I stand in my truth. I don't have a problem with that. You want to know my story? I got nothing but black and white for you. But that black and white includes court documents and paperwork that show that I've been doing nothing but fighting for my kids. You can't lie to people no more. You can't lie to people no more. I got 1.5 pounds worth of paperwork stacked up. Nothing but stuff with your name on it, my name on it, and those kids' names on it. I found the same thing about my dad with my mom locked up in a box somewhere in my dad's basement. That exposed a lot of stuff right there alone in my own family. This ain't nothing new. So my kids will find it just the same way I found it. And they'll see that I'm far from outside my mind, the same way I realize now that my dad was never outside of his mind. He couldn't deal with the facts and the truth of what was going on in his house too. And he wasn't a vet, and he wasn't deployed, and it still happened to him. Nobody's exempt. This is happening to people. And instead of people standing up and doing the right thing and speaking out and saying, yo, stop this, we just watch. We just move to the other side of the street and we just watch the show because it's funny to people. But it's not funny to me. You want to know why I stand hard for the 22 a day? Because there's some fathers out there who are blowing their faces off because they don't get a chance to see their kids. I know some dads that are dead now because they were doing their job in the military, because they were fighting hard overseas, doing what they had to do for the service that they signed up for. And guess what? They're not allowed to see their kids at all because they're in a box. I'm still here, and all I want to do is see my kids until my dying day. That's all. I just want a relationship with my children. I didn't think that was that hard. I thought that was a normal thing that most dads should be able to have. I shouldn't have to deal with any sort of silliness because of my race, because of my age, or because of the military background that I have. Those are my children, and I deserve to be in their life just by virtue of them being my children. Thank you for taking the time out to listen to this message. Have a blessed day.